Hi, thanks for clicking on the video. So the purpose of the video is to cover two things. One is to show a time lapse of me producing a drawing, which has been quite a common question that I've been asked over the past few months. And the other question is, what is digital drawing? How do I do it? Why is it digital as opposed to traditional, I suppose? So the process that I use involves using one of these, which I use a Huion graphic tablet. It's fairly uninteresting black plastic slate and an electronic stylus, and you simply, much like you would use a mouse, you move the pen over a specific area of the tablet, and that moves the cursor on screen. You can use a variety of programs. I use Photoshop. I pretty much stick with one tool, which is the airbrush tool. I do tend to use a tapering version sometimes, and sometimes just the traditional airbrush. But the pen allows you to do strokes that are both subtle or stronger just by applying different pressure, or by lifting the stylus away as you go. You can get a tapered edge. You can take it much further. There are brushes that simulate oils and watercolor marks and brushes, and I have played around with those a little bit in one or two of the drawings where I've used textured brushes to give something of a real art kind of feel. But on the whole, I'm producing quite a clean, polished, poster-esque style, so I keep it quite simple. The process that I have involves a lot of stippling, so to get skin tones and textures. If you ever look at skin, it's never pink or flesh colour, so to speak. It's built of a variety of colours, and I achieve that by stippling lots of dots, and they merge together to create the skin tone. Unfortunately, the downside of that is with the screen capture on, because I run a 4K monitor, then there was a slight lag between what was happening with my hand and what was happening on the screen. So sometimes I didn't screen capture simply because it was quite frustrating having this delay that was upsetting my coordination. The idea of Killing Joke 2020 started when I found this image here of the Joker holding a camera up. I think it was taken from a comic cartoon series either called Killing Joke or a particular episode called Killing Joke. I'm not too sure. But this was my start point, and I thought with such a powerful image, it would be really nice to do it with a modern version of Joker, and obviously bring it up to date using a modern camera. So that's how I started. In order to produce pretty much all of the digital drawings I have produced to date, I start by sourcing a variety of images and making a master design up. Rey, the Star Wars Rey character, is the only one that was taken from a straightforward single image. Everything else is montaged together. So what I do is I source all the bits I need and then make a design up that is quite close to what the final design will be. So in this instance, I found a reference of Jared Leto. Over the top of that, I placed the hands, the left hand and the right hand, in a position that was scaled correctly and would allow for the camera to be dropped into position. The camera is a modern Sony camera. I did change the Sony brand, kept their same font, but replaced the Sony with the word width in the final design. Again, that was a reference back to the original. So there is our start point. I did also have a little bit of a mess around with what I might do with the background, but didn't commit myself at the drawing stage. I knew I wanted to use the ha 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 reference from his tattoo, but wasn't quite sure how I was going to achieve that. With my master to one side, I create a new document to the size and resolution and bit depth of my final drawing. First stage is to scribble in the rough outline shape of the character. With that rough outline in position, I then create a number of layers for each of the different component parts of the final design. And on each of those layers, I create a flat, solid shape for the item. So in this instance, we can see that the left-hand glove is in a solid purple. I'll do that for the right hand, for the hair, for the face, the neck, the jacket, etc. Having a flat colour just minimises having any accidental transparent layer sections. So everything starts off in a very solid shape. So this is the final design. We can see that the project is stacked in a number of layers. So we have a background layer, we have the neck, and on top of the neck is a shadow layer. I keep the shadow separate, just allows me to adjust intensity. Having separated layers also means I can change the colour of that whole layer slightly, so if I feel something just needs a bit of adjustment. Face is next, and a little section of his face that is between the camera and his glove. Next we've got the jacket layer and his hair, a shadow on his face for where he's holding the camera layer, the writing on the lens of the camera, his left hand, shadow for his right hand and his right hand. The final layer is just my signature. So that's how the design builds up. The only thing that we're missing showing here is obviously the text layer, which overlaid on the background and was just copied to match the tattoo on his chest area. So now on to the time lapse. Thank you for watching and enjoy.